I said, I'm just ready if I didn't know. That's right, if I didn't. Because the man doesn't know how to put him thing together. You understand? But, well, him exam them different. But God exam room. All you have to do is just stay in there. And because God's promises are absolute, it is independent. Do you understand what I'm saying? God's promises are independent. It is good enough because it is self-sufficient. Once God speaks it will come to pass. I remember when Jesus was being persecuted by Pilate and the Jews and all of that. And them asked him, say, speak to yourself. And Jesus kept his silent. And then persecute him some more and accuse him all kind of things. And him saying, I'm not to say. And then kept his silent. Because Jesus couldn't just talk out of proportion like me and you do sometimes. Because he know every word that comes from his mouth, before heaven and earth would have to be passed away before one of them fail. So he never did just want talk. Of course he did feel, and we can just imagine the remorse him feeling in his heart. And the pity him feel upon them. The pity him feel upon them. He did not speak. Because even though he is God, he cares about us. He cares about us. Knowing that these men who are beating him and persecuting him and spitting on him and all of these things, him have a plan for them. Him have a plan for them. It is independent. God does not need our help. God does not need our help. The only time in the Bible I can record God said, let us, was when he was creating earth. There was not a conversation among men where God said, Abraham, let me and you go over there and take that land. Joshua, come on, man, we are go across the river. Come on, David, we go escape Saul hunting and trying to kill him. Come on, Paul. Come on, John. There was not one time in history where God said to man, let us. Oh yes, there is one. Come, let us reason together. That's not the only thing God wants to do with you. Talk with you. Come, let us reason together. But God want to go across the river and want to go take the land. But I'm afraid because, you know, my master did and made it just one pupil. You can just imagine how Joshua did a reason with God. And God said, don't worry. Be strong and courageous because I will take you there. And I can imagine David hiding in a cave and say, God, Jano, Saul just dead on my tail, so he really want to kill me, no God. How me I go escape this? And God said, don't worry, I will take you there. And God, I'm sure no God wise. Sometimes we do some things, you know, and we think say, and we do it by ourselves. God sent David to go hide in an enemy's camp. David killed Goliath, right? The Philistine greatest warrior. And Joseph was hiding in the Philistine camp. And a man said, King, you see David, you know? The king said, wow! David in a fury camp. Because they know say Saul want to kill him because the word must gone out. So they hear say Saul want to kill him. And when they bring David to the king, the king is a madman. I walk come up to him. Them say, the man mouth was run down him beard and all of that. When the king look for him, the king said, would even waste time for you. Would even waste time. Look at you. How would Goliath ever dare to make you kill him with a stone? Look at you. And I don't think David thought that it was him doing that. But God put ideas in our head sometime. And all we have to do is just stay in the exam room. If David did say, "Them a come for me now go fight back." You think you would escape with a Philistine? The Philistine them camp. There is no way on earth he would escape. We can just imagine how that making them feel after them destroy Saul's kingdom and kill off Jonathan and all of the warrior them and take the woman them and the pity them and travel them way go back home with victory and all of that. And when they do the same man, when he said, "We didn't have time for you," they ran up and destroy everybody and take back everything and more. I can just only imagine. He said, "Only if me didn't know." I like to write on the paper. I wish me didn't know. I just kill the madman right away. The same madman when he say, "We didn't have time for you." How can I ever put my hand on such feet? The same madman riding down and kill. Just like that. Just like that. You probably even think David did murder when he man killed. You probably think he did even murder. God's promise is absolute because it is not subjected to another's authority. So the only one can ordain, or the only one that can change your destiny is God. So if God tell you to do something, I'm going to tell you if you don't do it, I cannot change the promises of God. If God is taking you somewhere and I'm in your way trying to stop you, just keep pushing. Because I cannot change your destiny. I cannot take you off your path. You cannot take me off my path. There is nothing that no one or nothing that can happen on this earth or that no one can do that can take you off the path that God had placed you. There is nothing in this world that can stop you. There is nothing in this world. Reverend Mills was sharing with us one time in class. This African man, he went to a church and he was demon possessed. If you watch the African videos, them a whole heap of people possessed over there. Because them say black people have the strongest voodoo. You understand? The strongest voodoo. So white man voodoo can't compare to black man voodoo according to them. So this African man, he went into a church demon possessed and he was delivered. See, the pastor did not know that God had a plan for this man. And he was going to the church. It was some white missionaries that went here and was doing their thing. And he was going to the church a period of time and he said to the pastors, "Give me a church." God said, "If you give me a church." And the pastors them, talk among themselves and say, "You're crazy. Give you what kind of church? You did possess. You want church, no, you want God. Possess the people." You understand? And the man left his family and went into a cave and prayed for 40 days and 40 nights. When he come out, he even looked more possessed than he was when he came in the church first. And him go back with him beard and all kind of things and him say, "Give me a church." And the man them still refusing. And the man say, Reverend May said, the man go to God and say, "God, you tell me say they give me a church. I go tell them. They now listen to me. So you go tell them." And the man go back and them say, "All right, we have considered your this and your that and we're going to give you a church." And the man them said, halfway across Africa to pastor a church with 2 people. Make him go possess them 2 there. When he possess them 2 there, we can go up there and deliver them. And show him say him never ready. That was their thought. They did not knew that no matter how far they did send him, his promise, his will in God's book will come to pass. They did not thought for a moment that God is really using this man. They sent the man halfway across Africa to go pastor a church with 2 people. But he was right where God needed him. He was right where God wanted him to go. There was nothing that these pastors could have done or said that could take him off his path. Go and possess them. Yes, he did possess them with the Holy Ghost. And he used those 2 people. And right now, him have the biggest church in Africa. Sending the pastor the church with 2 people. And now the man of the biggest church in Africa. You know who want to be friend, don't you? You can just imagine. Genesis 45. Genesis 45. After Joseph's brother tied him up and threw him in a pit. And even though Reuben wanted to help Joseph, and he was not there when they took him out of the pit, according to the scripture. Him go and didn't know if he got take Joseph out of the pit. And him see saying, brother, gone. And him feel so grieved, him tear him clothes. But if God did allow Reuben to go take him out of the pit, plan would have changed. So we gonna do? Wait till Reuben gone a bush, gonna do him look a thing, or relieve himself, as a Gregory would have said. God makes some Ishmaelites. And we know which tribe, which ancestor that the line of people they come from. Ishmaelites. God allowed the Ishmaelites to be passing and biting from people. And them say, yo, we have one slave to sell no. Sell no. Them take him. When Reuben come back, Joseph gone. The Ishmaelites go. And we can bet say Potiphar get the first choice. Because as how Potiphar, as how the Bible described Joseph when Potiphar's wife was looking at him, a sturdy young man. So he was well built and all of that. You understand? So we can just imagine anybody who did go make the first buy would have buy Joseph. And Potiphar get the first choice, and Potiphar have him here as a slave, and Potiphar said, whoa, this man work hard, man. Put him in charge of everything. Except my wife, and you know. And the devil said, wow, him a going too good, man. Turn up the wife heat, and the wife said, wow, boy, I can mash my potatoes. Alright. Boy, you're ready. You understand? But one thing, come on, church. One thing I admire about Joseph's answer when Potiphar's wife came to him and said, lie with me. He never said, after Potiphar buy me I'm wearing so dirty and him clean me and put on clean clothes. No. He never said, after Potiphar she said, me just water the garden so well and they put tomatoes them fat and nice. Him hire me to watch over everything else. No. He said, how can I do such wicked thing to my God? Potiphar even didn't even plan. So all along he was still holding on to the promises of God. He was still holding on to the promises of God. Not caring where they have placed him. Not caring how they have sold him. Not caring who by it. But he was still holding on to the promises of God. He was still living a godly life. He said, how could I ever do such a wicked thing? Such a wicked. Oh, you don't see how God bless me. You don't see how God bless me. You don't say, oh my God,